Arena Sports.
Yes.
Perfect.
Arena Sports TV has the honor to speak with Sadibou Sy, PFL fighter. Hi, Sadie, how are you?
Hey, I'm very good. How are you?
We're doing great. So we're so happy to have the honor to speak with you today. I believe this is one of your places where you train for strength and conditioning.
Yeah, so we're out here in Las Vegas at UFC Fit, where my strength and conditioning coaches are making me work 3 times a week.
Okay, that's perfect. So I was going to ask you a little bit more about your personal life, in addition to your combat style and everything, like your combat philosophy. What is the root philosophy in your personal life that maybe you're taking to the ring? So when you're fighting, I saw that you have a very specific style of fighting. You don't just throw punches and wish for some punch to land. What is your fighting philosophy?
So you're actually right. I come from a background of Taekwondo. Was the first martial art that I got into. So in Taekwondo and kickboxing. All right, and my trainer was always trying to make me think, and not just to know why I was doing the things I was doing, understand the game and understand every situation, break down every situation. I never want to just throw anything and hope and pray for it to land. So with that being said, I always try to hit my opponent without getting hit myself, because for each fight, there's so much work put in, so demanding on your body, on your, both mentally and physically. So the actual fight, if I can get out there with a 13 seconds knockout, I'm happy. You know, I don't want to get touched. I don't, you know. So that's my philosophy.
And this is something that we have seen, I believe, in 2019 when you had that famous 17 seconds knockout.
That's correct. That's correct.
So can we expect to see more of those knockouts from you in the future?
100%. That's why I work so hard, and that's why I pride myself on being a hard worker. And so I'm always going to look for spectacular knockouts. But first and foremost, on the level that I'm fighting on, every guy is good. Everybody is comes with a game plan. So I'm not gonna go in there looking for the knockout like that. But when it comes in the flow of the fighting, that's when it's the best.
Yes, I believe that's a very good approach, and we can see that because you last for so many years in the fighting world. You're now 36, I believe.
Soon, in November, I will be 36, so it is 6 months.
So how many years have you been fighting, and how do you recommend the younger fighters to stay healthy and to last as long as you are?
So for me, to be honest, it's not about just being focused on one thing. Nowadays, everybody is very, very, very good, and everybody trains very, very hard. And when I say that, I mean, if you look at MMA fighters that are amateurs, they are so focused right now. They are doing 2 to 3 sessions a day as an amateur. The level of fighting and the level of the knowledge is just growing, so you have to live it. You can't just think that, yeah, Monday to Friday I'm gonna train, and then Saturday and Sunday I'm gonna stay away from fighting. No, you have to live it, you have to want it, you have to be almost obsessed with it. That's what I think, if you want to last, because your opponents are usually gonna be that way.
Okay, so is there any room for some personal life? Who is Sadibou Sy outside of training, outside of the ring?
Of course it is. You have to try to find the balance. So with that being said, with the previous question about staying focused, of course you need to have the time that you're not training. You're not training as hard. You're not doing as many sessions. You can have weeks that are a little bit lighter on the body, but you can still think about how you can become better. You can still plan, and you can still do things that's gonna make you benefit. So with that being said, I'm a guy that I love to have fun with my friends and family. I love to eat. I'm a foodie. I call myself a foodie. I love to eat like amazing food. And at the moment, I'm enjoying cooking a lot of food as well.
Really?
Yeah.
So what's your favorite cuisine?
Right now, like I do a lot of like shrimp, popcorn shrimps. Shrimp with some rice. You know, I'm on a diet right now because I'm fighting in 2 weeks, so I can't go all out. But like when the fight is over with, I love burgers, I love pizza, I love everything. But that goes back to what I was telling you about, like trying to live the lifestyle, because my body is much better when I eat healthy, when I sleep good, you know. So I indulge sometimes. I give myself a treat sometimes, but most of all, I'm trying to just figure out healthy things that I can eat that's good for the body, but also gives me like that's how do you say, it stops my craving for the good things, you know.
I can completely understand that. But do you have time for, let's say, friends or girlfriends? Since sport is your profession, what are your hobbies? Like, do you go bowling? Do you go do, I don't know, reading books, hiking, whatever? So I was going to discover some side of you that people don't know about you.
Yeah. So I have a girlfriend that she's been here with me in Las Vegas also. It's been amazing having her support here actually. It's been very fun. So we try to during my training days. It's hard to do things like because I train, rest, and eat in between, right? And then during the weekends we try to go out, eat, have some fun. We both of us are now in a new city, Las Vegas, right? So we try to go to restaurants and stuff like that. And for me, I always love to I love to watch movies. I love to watch other sports. I'm a big basketball and soccer fan, so I like to watch a lot of things. But most of the thing for me, it's just spending time with people that I love. You know, friends and family. That's the most important for me.
So you come from Sweden, right? What do you miss most from your home country?
To be honest, so this is the first time I've been away from Sweden for this long. It's been 6-7 months now, right? And I thought that I would miss things even more. But if you don't count people like my family, my friends, then I don't miss it as much, to be honest. Like my training partners back home and everything like that, of course. But other than that, because Sweden, the weather over there is not so good, you know.
Right.
And being here in Las Vegas when the weather is amazing, like I wake up every day and with just a smile on my face because the sun is shining and I'm able to put the right foot in front of the left foot, you know. So I'm a happy man.
I understand that.
Yeah.
So I believe your nickname is Swedish Denzel Washington. How did you get the nickname? Can you tell us the story?
Yeah, okay. So one of my best friends, childhood friends from Sweden, he moved to Canada and then from Canada to Vietnam to become an actor. A couple of years ago, he asked me if I could be an actor in one of his movies. And I told him, I was like, yeah, 100%. So they flew me into Vietnam. I did the movie with them. And then at 2016, I went back for the opening of the movie, right? And so when I told this story to PFL, they asked me, how was it to see yourself at the movies? And I told them, because my favorite actor is Denzel Washington. So I told them, I was like, yeah, to be honest, it wasn't no Denzel Washington. And after that, so my first fight came, and they were like, Sadibou Sy, Swedish Denzel Washington. And I was like, all right, cool. So it was fun. We had fun about it, because that's also one of my main things. I love to joke around. I love to have fun. Like, I'm actually like a big kid like always joking around. You know, I have my serious side as well, but with everything in life, I believe life's too short to not have fun.
Yeah, and I believe your nickname is a little bit a breath of fresh air, because everyone has nicknamed something like the Punisher, the Executor, you know, something mean and badass. You have like Denzel Washington.
Yes. And the fun part is, people always ask me, why Swedish Denzel Washington, right? So it becomes a thing. And after the first season, PFL actually asked me, they called me up and they were like, can we still use it? I'm like, go ahead, use it. Like, I don't, like, it's not gonna make me win or lose my fight, right? But we can have fun with it, you know?
Yeah,
That's so for me, I have no problems with that.
So how come you are now in PFL? Which organizations did you fight before? And how long did it take you to come to the PFL?
Okay, so I started with MMA in 2012 or 2013, and my goal at that moment was, because I was 26 when I started with MMA. I came from kickboxing and Muay Thai, where I fought like as an amateur and then as a pro. And I wanted to start with MMA just because I wanted more fights. My goal wasn't to stop fighting as a striker, kickboxing and Muay Thai. It was just to have more fights, more opportunities. So what I did was I fought at every opportunity I could, as long as it was a fight that was gonna take me one step closer to a big organization like PFL. So I fought in Swedish organizations called IFMA, called Superior Challenge. I fought in Poland. So I had like 6 or 8 fights, something like that, before I got approached by my management about PFL and the big opportunity to go international and sign long-term with our organization. And that's what I did, and I'm very happy that I did that.
Yeah, I can see PFL is a relatively young organization. It started in 2018. But for now, it gathered a lot of top quality, top level fighters, both men and female. So I believe it's a good place to be there.
That's correct. And also a lot of the people that are running PFL, some of them actually come from World Series of Fighting previously. So they have a lot of knowledge. And to be honest, one thing that we cannot, that I cannot stress enough, that PFL, we have our president, that's called Ray Sefo, which is the kickboxing legend. Having a guy in charge that's actually a former fighter makes it so good for us, because there are things coming up all the time, because it's an organization and it's like we said, they started in 2018, and he makes, not he, PFL is a fighter-friendly promotion, which means they put the fighters first and thinking about us all the time. And I believe that's a lot comes because Ray Sefo has been fighting a lot himself and knows how it is to be in our shoes.
I was just about to ask about that. How does the organization take care of you? For example, do they conduct more frequent medical examinations, or do they take care that your matchmaking is fair? Like, how is this manifested, that they take care of fighters better than maybe some other organizations?
So that's a very good question, to be honest. When it comes to the medicals and all of that, we get tested. If that's what you mean,
yes.
We get tested at the events. I would love for us to get tested more often, like UFC, who can get tested at any point. PFL doesn't have that yet, because it takes time to be able to build up that, I think. But what I mean is, like, let's say for instance in 2018, if there, I'm gonna give you like an example, so in 2018, let's say they were fighters after the fight, if you got injured after the fight, you needed to go to the hospital and stuff like that. You saw at the first event, it might have been some questions like, okay, who should take us and stuff like that. At the second event, they have everything figured out because they're learning, constantly learning, and also you can actually approach them and ask them like, how do you gonna do about this? How do you gonna do about that? And they listen to you. That's what I mean. And when it comes to the matchmaking, so the concept is for the first 2 fights in the regular season, the PFL are doing the matchmaking. So it all depends on what the fans want to see and what the promotion want to see. And sometimes there's some bad blood in between fighters, and they might just give you that fight, you know. Okay. Other than that, so when you fought the 2 fights at the regular season, then you go to the playoffs. And at the playoffs, it's just about the brackets. Number 1 fights number 4, number 2 fights number 3. So then it's no matchmaking. It's just win and advance.
This is something that I've noticed in your fighting record. For example, you have a positive fight score. However, you have lost some fights as well. And I could see that in PFL, I believe that there are no fixed fights, so to say. You don't choose your opponents. You just fight whoever the organization picks for you, and you just go whether you win or lose. What do you feel about that?
That's correct. And for me, that's the way, when I came into martial arts, that's the way I came into martial arts. So it wasn't any, do you want, if there's a fight, I'm gonna fight. Like there's no, oh, I don't like this opponent, the style. No, that wasn't the way I got brought up and got brought into martial arts. With that being said, in PFL in 2018 and 2019, they actually had 2 fights in one night in the playoffs. With that being said, so we were 12 people in every weight class, and 8 went through to the playoffs. So we had the quarterfinals and the semifinals on the same night.
No way.
Yeah, way. Yeah, way.
When did that happen? When was that?
2018 and 2019.
Okay,
yeah.
That was the learning curve, probably.
Yeah, but then because of COVID, in 2020, PFL didn't have any season, and coming back at 2021, they only took back 10 fighters in each bracket and made 4 go through to the semifinals. But I know that the plan is to go back to having 2 fights in one night. Okay. because of different reasons. One reason is no other organization does this. All right, so PFL always looking to like stand out. And also, like I told you about Ray Sefo, he comes from K1, and in K1 they had the Grand Prix where they were, I believe it was 3 fights in one night, back to back to back. Yes, so he brought that into MMA.
Yeah, that was good history and beginnings of MMA. K1 actually, it was beginnings of kickboxing. Yeah, so now let's talk a little bit about your fighting background and your fighting style. So you're mainly a striker, right?
From the beginning, yes, but my goal was always to be an MMA fighter. I don't wanna be considered a striker. I wanna be considered a MMA fighter. With that being said, is striking always gonna be my go-to? Probably, but I've told people this for years. Don't get shocked when I go for the takedowns and when I start submitting people.
I spied your profile a little bit and saw that you did some training with Khamzat Chimaev.
Yeah. So we're from Sweden, both of us, and he's not only a training partner but a friend, and we've been training a lot together.
So how do you assess your progress in the ground techniques like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling, grappling? What do you think, how much have you progressed since you started fighting MMA, let's say in the past few years? How much did you make progress?
Oh, it's been a lot. So I believe that I learned a lot when I started because it was so new. And then I think it was a couple of years over there where I didn't evolve as much in the grappling and the wrestling as I would have loved to, and now again, I think that my evolution and my I'm growing a lot and I'm learning a lot, and that's a lot of also thanks to Khamzat Chimaev. He's such a amazing fighter, and we've been learning a lot from each other, I believe.
And what about your natural physical characteristics? You have very long reach for your weight division. Is that good or bad when it comes to groundwork?
Yeah, that's right. Not only long legs and long arms, I believe I'm like one of the tallest welterweights in the world. Yeah, so I believe with fighting, you can always look at it as, if you can use it as something positive, it's gonna be positive. If you don't, it's not. So even on the feet, if I fight a guy that's much shorter, if I can get the distance that I want, that I think is gonna be the best for me, then it's gonna be positive. But if he can close the distance and maybe make the fight more beneficial for him, yeah. So that question is a little bit hard. So I think that I'm able to use it as positive for me, but it's all up to how you use it.
Okay. I've seen that you can change stances from orthodox to southpaw. Which one do you prefer, and how come? When did you discover that you can do both stances?
So that's right, because when I started to train, always trained in both stance. Did half of the practice at orthodox and half the practice as a southpaw. And then at my first World Cup for kickboxing, I actually had a knee problem that I got 2 weeks prior to the World Cup, and I didn't want to cancel the fight, so I couldn't stand with my left foot in front. I needed to stand southpaw, and that's when I learned that, okay, so I can actually fight southpaw as well. So what I like to do is I like to switch, because one thing for me is, as an opponent, if you look at my fights, if you can't see, or if you don't know what I'm gonna do, it's gonna be so much harder for you. And me going into some fights, I'm just gonna use the flow of the fight and feel of the fight. I don't go in and thinking, yeah, I'm gonna stay southpaw. Yeah, I'm gonna use the flow of the game. And when I am southpaw, I have one type of game. And when I go orthodox, I have one type of game. But that makes it hard for my opponents, I believe, because if I don't know, then it's impossible for you to know.
That's very smart strategy.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so one day when you finish your fighting career, do you have any plans to open up your gym to work as a trainer, or what would you like for yourself for the future when you're finished with active fighting?
That's a very good question. So I love to work with people. I love to help people. I love to see the growth and the evolution of people, both in and outside the martial arts. So I always want to have a foot in the martial arts. I can see myself as a commentator. I can see myself as a trainer. I don't know if I'm gonna open a gym, if that's something at the moment. That's not something that I'm like that's burning inside of me. But I always want to have a foot in martial arts. And then also, like I told you about the movie, I've done 2 movies in Vietnam. I want to definitely continue with doing some movies, and maybe some Serbian movies.
Yes, why not?
Why not? So to be honest, I don't try to put like a label on myself. I just know that I like to be around people. I like to meet new people, and let's see where that's gonna take me.
Are you familiar with any Serbian MMA fighters?
Rakic, of course, and I'm trying to see if there's anyone else that I can. I know that there is fights, because there was actually I don't remember his name now, but it was a Serbian fighter. because there's a guy from Sweden. He's called Daki Savic. He's from Serbia as well. Yeah, so I know him, and he actually brought a fighter to the gym to work out with us. I don't remember the name of the gym, and I have a lot of Serbian friends back home in Sweden.
So from your relatively small experience with the Serbian people, how do you find them? Is there any something strange that you find in our personalities, in something specific to Serbian people that you found funny or strange?
All Serbian people that I know, I love, but they are crazy. They are crazy.
What do you mean crazy?
Like they are. Well, if they have an how do you say? If they're thinking about something, they're not gonna just how do you say, change their mind easily.
Okay.
They are
Stubborn.
very stubborn. But I like that because they're 10 toes down in everything. Everything they wear their like, we call it like wear the heart on the sleeve, or wear the, like, you know what I say. So I've been around a lot of Serbian people, and I really love Serbian people.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for allocating the time for this interview. We wish you the best in your future fighting and your fighting career, and that's it. Good luck.
Thank you so much for this interview, and thank you so much for the kind words. Hopefully down the line we will make another interview, maybe in Serbia. Who knows? And also for you, good luck for you with your boxing career as well.
Thank
and
you.
Maybe MMA.
Yes, thank you so much. So for Arena Sports TV, Jelena Janićijević.